Hello everyone, welcome to the Bodhi Academy. In today's video, we are going to continue with Class 7 Science Chapter 7, that is Weather, Climate and Adaptations of Animals to Climate. So, in the last class, we have learnt about what is weather, what is a weather report, what a weather report and what a weather report contains. Then also what are the elements of weather, that is temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, all these are the elements of the weather. So let us continue with this chapter. So we have already learned what is the weather. So how do changes in weather occur? So we have learned in the last video that the weather of a place is never constant. So the weather of a place constantly changes, okay, it never remains the same. So even day after day or week after week it will change. So how does it changes? So any change in the weather of a place on earth is because of the sun. So any change in the weather of a place is because of the sun, which radiates large amounts of heat and light energy on the earth. So any change in the weather which is seen is because of the sun, and it is because of the large amounts of heat and light energy that the sun radiates. So the formation of winds, the phenomenon of rainfall and the change in season, it all occurs because of the sun. Okay, so the sun is responsible for all these changes. Then now we have talked about the phenomenon of rainfall. So how do we measure this rainfall, right? How do we measure rainfall? Now to measure rainfall of a place, an instrument called a rain gauge is used. Okay, so an special instrument which is called a rain gauge is used to measure the rainfall of a place. Now the rain gauge collects the rainwater of origin and has a measuring scale. Okay, it has a measuring scale with all the numbers so that we can measure the amount of rainfall. It has a measuring scale which determines the quantity or the amount of rainfall of that place. So as we can see here in this picture, this is a rain gauge and this is the scale that it has which will measure the amount of rainfall. Then talking about okay, now we have talked about the different seasons, right, or different changes in weather. So why days are short in the winter season? Okay, we have already learned that everything, the changes in weather and all, it all depends on the sun. So we know that the earth spins around an axis around the sun, and hence the amount of sunlight a place receives varies throughout the year. So as and when the earth revolves or it spins around the sun, the amount of sunlight it will receive will differ. So the amount of sunlight a place receives throughout the year as its position with respect to the sun changes because of the rotation of the earth. So as we can see here in this picture, as the earth will rotate, the amount of sunlight a place gets will also change. Then this also leads to the change in season. So whatever different seasons that we have, summer, rainy season, winter and all, spring season, it is all because of the rotation and because of the position of earth with respect to the sun. Then in summer, the position of a place is closer to the sun. So when it is closer to the sun, it will receive more sunlight, or it will receive sunlight for longer hours. While in winter season, the position of a place is farther to the sun, and hence it will receive sunlight for shorter hours. So that is why, since in summer season the place receives sunlight for longer hours, the days are longer, whereas in winter season the place will receive sunlight for shorter hours. So that is why the days in winter are shorter. So as we can see here, now here winter in the northern hemisphere. So in this part will have the winter season, whereas the summer in the southern hemisphere. So this part will have summer season, whereas over here the northern hemisphere will have summer, whereas the southern hemisphere will have winter season. Then talking about something called the climate. What do you mean by climate? So climate is the climate of a place basically can be defined as the prevailing weather conditions of that place for a long period of time. For example, 25 years. So whatever the weather conditions which are observed for a long period of time, for example 20-25 years, is known as the climate of a place. For example, now that we know that the temperature of Rajasthan is generally high throughout the year and it receives very less rainfall, or it does not receive much rainfall. So we can say that the climate of a place is hot and dry, or we can say that Rajasthan is a hot and dry place. Then talking about climate and adaptations. Now how the animals or all the living beings of a place will change and adapt to the climate of that area or the place. So the climate of a place can affect the living organisms of that area, and the living organisms of a particular region adapt themselves, means they will undergo certain changes or they will adapt themselves so that they can survive the weather conditions of that place. Now what happens? The features and the habits of animals start to change as per the climate of the place. Okay, so what are these different changes and what are these different habits which the animals do to adapt to the various climate and weather? We will learn in the next class. So thank you for watching my video. Please like, share and subscribe to the Foodie Academy.